title of my film is Brothers of the Night. I'm Patric Chiha, the director, and the film is about a group of young Bulgarian Romas in Vienna who sell their bodies to get money.
When I watched your film yesterday, the first thing I was really struck by is really the aesthetics and the lighting and the pace, the editing, and I was really kind of wondering, where am I in a documentary, fiction? What world am I introduced to? And I kind of for the first question would like to know what world were you envisioning, or were you envisioning a universe or a parallel reality when you started sort of realizing this project?
It's not so much a question about choice or decision. I think it's a parallel world. Mm-hmm. It's a night world. Mm-hmm. These boys I filmed, they only live by night. Mm-hmm. They work in bars which look really strange, this Austrian golden thing, but at the same time they're kind of pornographic things. This something between the empire and sexuality, mm-hmm. with this red light and so. And so when I discovered these boys, really the places where I met them looked like this. And these boys, they immediately reminded me also young boys from films like Fassbinder or Pasolini or Kenneth Anger. And so they were like film figures. Mm-hmm. And so it's strange to say, even if the film looks very fake and constructed, the way to come to it was quite natural. Mm-hmm. And then there was another reason. There are a lot of reasons, but I wanted to do a film with them and not about them, or I don't have to say something about what they do. There's nothing to. I don't know. I have nothing to say about prostitution. What do you want me to say? Yeah. But I wanted to do something with them. I was fascinated by them, mm-hmm. and I thought if I am fascinated, other people can be fascinated. Mm-hmm. And so these are young boys who are 18, 19. And it took a long time that they see that I respect them and that we know each other. And when they understood that I really want to make a film with them, and I told them I want to make a beautiful film about you because I think you're heroes, you're stars, and you remind me beautiful cinema, then of course they said, okay, then let's play cinema. And what is cinema? It's lighting.
It is very much. That's what I was talking about. Lighting is the key to everything. It creates the entire mood.
And I think the lighting is also the emotion, and last but not least, it's not because it's grey and the camera is shaking that it's more real. Cinema is fake. It's a fake moment. If you film me here, it's not the same like if we are together in the cafe without a camera. So it's a fake moment.
It's a stage moment.
And so today we see so much films where it's also in Austria. It's grey and the camera is shaking and everything looks horrible, but reality is more complex than this. Mm-hmm. Light is also the reality, and so I thought this fictional, artificial way to make the film was my way with them to come to reality, to emotions, and emotions are reality. And then, sorry, there's so many reasons why it looks like it looks, but also it's a way to preserve them. I didn't ask them, hey, be nude and tell me who you are. I'm not the police. I told them, hey, you can lie, you can play. They play and lie all their life. Everything is fake. Sexuality, money, nightlife. Reality is fake there. So I told them, hey, I'm not here to follow you and to get who you are really. Let's play with life. And I knew, or I hoped, that this was the way to come to emotions, to have a feeling for them and to love them.
How did you communicate with them while you were shooting? Was there a lot of interaction between you and them during the shooting process?
Of course. I must say, okay, they speak mostly Bulgarian, or how do you say in English, Romanesque, the gypsy language. I had a translator, a young guy who they loved really, it was easy. The sound guy was Bulgarian, and they speak German very badly, and I didn't want to make interviews with them in German because their German was too bad, and so they couldn't say what they want to say. They couldn't play as with themselves. Or they couldn't lie. You have to know a language to lie. And but of course we talked in German, and with them, they talk a lot, and I love films where people talk a lot, but it goes through the body with them. It's a body thing, you know. For example, first when we went out together to discos, it's always funny to say, Patric, you're here. And I want to talk a little bit. How are you? How are your children? Or with your wife? And they say, hey, stop talking. Let's dance. And so you dance 1 hour, and it was a way to be together. Okay. And I tried to show this in this film that, of course, they talk all this time. They say prices and talk about clients, and but in fact, what moves me is the light and the movements of the body.
And how did you build the relationship with them? How did you find these characters? Was it a long process, or did you get to know them in bars? In what location?
No, I did research for another film which I didn't make, and by accident I went into. Somebody told me, you should go into this bar, and I didn't know this bar. It's in the center of Vienna. It's quite easy to find. No, it was another one, which closed 5 days before shooting. So this happens. And this was really this strange bar, and I didn't really understand immediately what it was, but after 10 minutes I understood, okay, there are young boys on the bars and all these old men, and it was such a strange, beautiful and complicated world, but it was like theater. They played a world, they played something, and I knew I want to know them, I want to spend time with them, I want to make something with them. And then I had a very good assistant, a girl, and we spent like 2 months. Every night we went out there, and okay, I'm not so old, but it was tough. And of course they didn't understand what we're doing here, you know. Yeah. These are guys, they never went to school, they don't watch movies, and so of course it took time that they understood what I want, because they never have a feeling, for example, for time. You cannot say, okay, in 1 month I would like to make something with you. They say now, it's sex now. So how can you? So we had to find this way that they feel that we will do something else with them. And the day they understood, okay, there's an Austrian guy who wants something else from me than sex or business or something else, then they were surprised. And so now I still see them a lot, because you cannot say, okay, now that we build a relationship,
the project is
and I
over,
really like them,
okay,
now I don't want anything about you, from you. But so it was a lot of nightlife, dancing, drinking, blah blah.
Excessive life. But you were just mentioning time, and I also think that in the pace of the film and the editing really gives you a weird sense of time. It just can you talk a little bit about
of course,
like what time meant to you or means to you in the film?
There were two things very easy which I noticed with them. I thought, why I'm so fascinated by them, or what is it? And there's a thing, you know, a film is space and time. You work with space and time. And these guys, they don't have any space in a way. They're in Vienna, but they don't really live in Vienna. They are like here, like more or less tourists. They discovered Vienna with us, more or less. They live in a fake nightlife. Then they have this horrible apartment where they live together and have to pay. They have no space for them.
Yes.
And also, there's no time in a way. They never speak. We never spoke like we would do normally. Who are your parents? Where are you from? Where you want to go? What is your future? You know, time is very important, of course, in our discussions.
In our identities.
And they have a permanent present. It's now. It's not in 5 minutes. It's now. So they were timeless. And
which sounds very privileged in a way. That's what some people are striving for, right?
Yeah,
somebody
but we need hope in life.
Yes,
we need hope in life. Yeah. And for hope, we need future and spaces. And so I was very moved. These immigrants from Bulgaria, which is really very close to Austria, they come here and they have no space for them, and they can't create time here. But I think there's hope in their lives, and I hope so in the film. There's a kind of friendship, a warmth, something. They're together. They are really brothers. Most of them are really brothers or cousins or friends. But something, okay, we stay together, we can fight together.
Do you think that there is a sense of identity for them, and how does it express or how does it show? What do they identify with?
Yeah, I think I always have problems with the word identity as it, and I don't know, I understood this with them. They don't use this word. There are a lot of words we use, they don't use. We have, it's not you, me too.
No,
we try to find words who say something, who close the system. Okay,
yes.
You are gay, you live here, you're from Berlin. Yeah. And in their world, everything is floating, and you don't put words on this. So that makes them, for me, very mysterious. I'm from Lebanon, and so it reminded me something from an Arabic way to speak about relations, but to be into relations. But this floating thing was brutal and beautiful at the same time. Yeah. Did I answer?
Yeah. No. I mean, I think you hit a lot of important points, but I was also thinking about like identity and bodies, and what are the relationships to their bodies? You know, they
it's strange
sell their bodies, yes,
in their lives.
In their lives, like what role does the body play?
I think the body, what I liked with them, and what I understood, you know, the body is not how is in English heilig. Holy.
Or sacred.
Yeah. You know, the body is a cashier. The supermarket, is she more free than they are? I don't know. They're playing with life. They're stuck in a complicated situation. In a kind of slaves of our society. And at the same time, first time in their life, they're free. They can be young. They can be children, what they are. Their wives and children are in Bulgaria. And here they're with the friends and making stupid things. Getting a little money with prostitution. It's strange, no? To be so much stuck in the situation and a prisoner of a system. And at the same time, I really had the feeling of, okay, there's a kind of freedom, and so they don't want to go back immediately. And so nothing is. That's why there are so much colors in the film, because nothing is black or white in their life. You know, and the body, it's the same. They are close together, and at the same time there's a respect limit and.
But what I was
it's a strange word,
it's an interesting word, but you sort of like got into it, but you also, and I think that's something as filmmakers which is like so challenging and difficult to deal with sometimes, because you carry a lot of privilege, you know, as someone who is going to make a film about it, who's telling a story, who has a certain background, who has a different approach to life, who has knowledge and resources that these people do not and probably will never have access to. How do you deal with all these things? Yeah,
big question.
But it's been a question forever. But I guess we always have to
because
like
the only solution is
new.
Not to make a film.
Really? I don't know. That would be so tough. I mean,
of course,
maybe that's the radical answer.
For example, with a camera or my cultural background, in a way, I'm stronger than they are. I make it stronger. I make a film.
Yeah, you're more privileged. Yeah, you definitely have more access.
And I edit it, so I know how to tell. I can choose how I tell. But they have the life. They have the energy, which was stronger than our ideas. So what I tried is to be as close to them, to their lives, and not too much into my ideas to find. But it's a complicated question.
How
can we be together if we are so different? And how can I do a film and not just saying, they are exotic?
Yeah, exactly.
How can we close? Can we be close? And maybe it's a little bit kitschy, but maybe it's into. I really like them, and I knew when I edited the film, I wanted that people love them, like you can love film figures. And but it's a very complicated question.
Did they watch it ever?
Not yet. We finished it last week, so.
So will you?
Next week
will you in Vienna, or how do you think they will react? Do you think about that, or do you?
Of course, I think about that.
Do you have anything in mind, or what? What do you wish for? What do you hope for? You just said hope is something we need, but what do you hope for?
That they felt that I respected them until the end. Okay. That I didn't steal something from them. That we did something together. Okay. And I'm not naive. When you edit alone. But I hope they feel that that it's a homage to them. That is something they can also be proud of them.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Enjoy your time.
Thank you.
Here,
Thank you.
And I was really kind of wondering, where am I in a documentary, fiction? What world am I introduced to? And I kind of for the first question would like to know what world were you envisioning, or were you envisioning a universe or a parallel reality when you started sort of realizing this project?
It's not so much a question about choice or decision. I think it's a parallel world. Mm-hmm. It's a night world. Mm-hmm. These boys I filmed, they only live by night. Mm-hmm. They work in bars which look really strange, this Austrian. The title of my film is Brothers of the Night. I'm Patric Chiha, the director, and the film is about a group of young Bulgarian Romas in Vienna who sell their bodies to get money.
When I watched your film yesterday, the first thing I was really struck by is really the aesthetics and the lighting and the pace, the editing.
Golden thing, but at the same time they're kind of pornographic things. Something between the empire and sexuality, with this red light and so. And so when I discovered these boys, really the places where I met them looked like this. And these boys, they immediately reminded me also young boys from films like Fassbinder or Pasolini or Kenneth Anger. And so they were like film figures. And so it's strange to say, even if the film looks very fake and constructed, the way to come to it was quite natural. And then there was another reason. There are a lot of reasons, but I wanted to do a film with them and not about them, or I don't have to say something about what they do. There's nothing to. I don't know. I have nothing to say about prostitution. What do you want me to say? Yeah. But I wanted to do something with them. I was fascinated by them, and I thought if I am fascinated, other people can be fascinated. And so these are young boys who are 18, 19, and it took a long time that they see that I respect them and that we know each other. And when they understood that I really want to make a film with them, and I told them I want to make a beautiful film about you because I think you're heroes, you're stars, and you remind me beautiful cinema, then of course they said, okay, then let's play cinema. And what is cinema? It's lighting.
It is very much. That's what I was talking about. Lighting is the key to everything. It creates the entire mood.